Hey there, dudes and dudettes, they and them. You're welcome here too. No restrictions. Just be civil. Don't be civil. Be civil. Did you see Sybil way back when with Sally Field? I think it was Sally Field, wasn't it? Yes. The Flying Nun, Gidget, and of course, Forrest Gump's mom. Mom got the cancer and went up to heaven, took a trip up to heaven. That's what happened. Ted Richards. Oh dear. There's a positive to showing you what is really Karen's shirt, but there's a definite negative. It shows too much of me abs. It shows too much of me abs, you know. I do love this shirt though, and she's got a few cool ones. Got to wear her Oktoberfest on Sunday before October is no more. You know what I mean? So there you go. Welcome to Worldwide Ramblings Thursday. Ted Richards, how are you doing? Welcome. And Sue wants to talk to you. Oh, well, okay, I see how you're going to be, Sue. Cindy in South Louisiana. Hello, Jack and friends. Welcome. How are you doing, Cindy? Are you still recuperating? Cheryl Larson is here. Katina Swartzworth has a smiley face tonight. I caught the beginning. Yes, you sure did. I had to, kind of get up here quick because we were watching Jesse Waters prime time, and I missed Johnny, but I can see him on the flip flop. I can see him on the flip flop. And it turned out to be a busy afternoon, so prep went out the window. I'm not talking about prep for a colonoscopy, Ted Richards, but I'm talking about prep for, the show. It's going to be Wing City. Do you like the wings? What's your favorite kind of wings, huh? Have you been to Buffalo Wild Wings? They make a pretty good wing there. Now, we got a thing called Planet Wings here. The wing is so small. I think this chicken must have had the cancer or something. The chicken wings are so small. Then you go to the Chinese restaurant. What the heck is this? These are not chickens from the Chinese restaurant. These are not chicken wings. I think we're talking vulture wings, perhaps, huh? Condor wings, something like that. Something with a big wingspan. So we have one extreme to the other, one way or another. Yeah, baby, I'm going to get you. Going to get you. Going to get you. Hello, Karen Phillips. How are you? Welcome, Linda Justice, as well. If I didn't say that already, I forget because it was like recent, Pam Donnelly. Hey, Jack, love the shirt. I like it too, I must say. I do. Karen insisted on getting this shirt. See, when we were actually down in Sleepy Hollow, we went to the Dark Shadows event, and she said something about a Sleepy Hollow shirt. And I said, well, I'm thinking that I just bought her the Marie Wallace book. I haven't seen her read it yet. I said, we got to watch our budget. Yeah, right. Like she's going to listen to me, huh? So she said, well, I can get it online. And that meant come hell or high water, a tornado or a Ford Tornado, hurricane or sugarcane, she was getting a Sleepy Hollow shirt, and she did. We went into the cemetery on a past visit. It's so vast. That cemetery, that you pretty much get lost in a maze, and at some point you just give up trying to find out where the headless horseman would be, where they do that event in the cemetery. And you just go back to the street. But it is a popular spot in October. the cemetery, and all of Sleepy Hollow right next to Tarrytown. And the Tarrytown Music Hall is in Sleepy Hollow. Go figure. Go figure. Laura Shadley is here talking to Sam Sammy. That's Sam the Man. We have verified it with DNA testing. And Victoria Winters Matthews is here. And let's see here. You know that Blondie song. We saw her perform at Tedward at Bethel Woods, the original Woodstock site in Bethel, New York. No Woodstock ever went on in Woodstock, but it almost went on down the road in the town of Walk Hill in 1969. They probably started talking about it in 68, bringing it to the town of Walk Hill. All those houses that are there now weren't there then. And of course, the town officials messed it up and messed their chance to get Woodstock. So there is a street in the town of Walk Hill in that general area called Woodstock Circle. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. But that's not the oddest circle that we have in the town of Walk Hill. Oh, no. Oh, no. On the North Street extension in the town of Walk Hill, we have a development, and one of the streets, I kid you not, Sam Semi, Gay Bar Circle. Gay Bar Circle. I don't know why. I don't know why I love you like I do. So that's the strangest one we have. And it's, it's houses on there. There's no bars. There's no bars. So welcome, everybody. We have 36 watching already. No, 30. And please hit the subscribe, the like button, and the notification bell. That would be swell. Kim Lackey. Hi, Jack. Hello, Kim. Welcome. I better put on another pair of specs to read me names here. How you doing, Kim Lackey? Good to have you aboard. Mikhail is here. Michael G., not to be confused with his brother Kenny. Evening, Jack. Hi, how are you? Welcome. Justin Battinger is here as well. Yeah. Where are you from again, Justin? I forget. West Virginia, I'm guessing. Hi. And Sammy's talking about DNA. Did I mention DNA? I think I did, didn't I? But I've forgotten already in what context. I keep touching the microphone with my lips. If I had done that on a radio station mic, you'd hear a pah right away. But that doesn't happen with my Australian microphone. Evansville, Indiana. I'd like to say I'll remember that, but I'd have to write it down. Susan Safiati is here saying hello to Ted, and Joseph Kelly joins us. See, when we come on earlier, we see some of our old friends come back. I have, I can't say I have a shade in front of me because I don't have a shade. There is a curtain, but you could see through that. So I have pictures, and I have, you see that groovy, it's really a cardboard box that's covered by the one of my throws that you see sometimes up here. And that's what goes in there to give me privacy. You have to have your privacy, so I can see people zooming by from time to time on this rather busy street. But it's calming down now. Tanya Sears Roebuck is here. Hi, Jack and everyone. Welcome. Great shirt. Lower Hudson Valley. Mary? What? Oh, yes. I'm a Lower Hudson Valley man. Well, I'm held captive, but by a beautiful redhead, so it's not the worst gig in the world, Hopefully, it represents the Democrats' final weeks. Oh, so you want to get me started? Now, some people won't like it. I got stuff to say about that tonight, but I wasn't going to start with it. But I think it is. I'll say that much now. And how close How close? See, when I come in the middle of a conversation, I'm at a loss. Pam, I am 91? No, you're not, Cindy. You're not 91. Oh, 91%. I know you just started a job in a bank, so you're not 91. They would discriminate against you, because you keep falling down and stuff, maybe, unless you were like Jack LaLanne or, I don't know, pick the female version of Jack LaLanne. I'm 91% France, 5% Cornwall. Yeah, Cornwall's just up the road. I took the guy for eye surgery next door and his wife for cataract surgery in Cornwall. Scotland, 1%. Wouldn't that be Scottish? Indigenous American North, 1%. Eastern European, or 1% Eastern European, Roma. Well, that is the most unusual. Nobody can top that um, uh, post tonight, Cindy. I think you've won the contest right out of the gate. That's going to be hard to top. Jumped on to hear the Bob Joyce topic before I go to bed. I can't promise you an instant fix, Joseph. So, if that's all I am to you, just go to bed. Just go to bed. We'll talk a little bit about the critics and the feedback, both positive and negative. But this is a more relaxed version. But I can tell you, Joseph, that tomorrow I'm going to boost up the time a little bit for the debut. It's already been recorded. Brenda, recorded means you won't be missing anything. You didn't miss anything because it's pre-recorded. You choose when you want to watch it. I certainly hope you will choose. So the top 50 reasons why Bob Joyce Maybe Elvis Part 2 debuts tomorrow, maybe around noontime now, huh? And Andy and I were up here working on it today. And it took a while. It took a while. There's several instances of roll-in video. I'm quite pleased with it, just like I'm pleased with the Homage to Rush shows, which I hope will catch on to some kind of an audience. The problem is when you don't have that kind of an audience per se, but there are people here that are interested in politics. But, you need a lot. You need to tap into the big boys audience, and that's hard to do. But, yeah, you can go to bed at 9:15 at night if you want, but you're a working man, Joseph. I understand that. I understand that. I don't think I'm quite ready to naturally flow into that yet. Sorry, Jack, but it didn't have to. I didn't have to work in the morning. Well, that's good. I was never a person who picked the day shift. I was always the midnight guy. Best shift, worst hours. I always said. So I understand. I can kind of pick my own schedule here on YouTube, but you gotta punch that clock. Do you still have a clock to punch? There's all kinds of ways to do it now. Anybody doing voice or thumb recognition yet on their job? Did anyone hear last? Hear the last waltz. I like that. It'll be the last waltz for Tim. We figured out he's a dumbass. Not that he's always atrocious. But when it comes to not wanting him as our vice president, I'm afraid we're somewhat ferocious. It's the best I can do. No, I haven't heard that. But I think Anderson Cooper, Hallie Jackson, and even Dana Bash to a degree, and a few others on MSNBC, and Alex Wagner being one of them. She has her own talk show, though. You may see that during the day. Is that still on? And she has a show on ID. I know she had a show on ID, crime show. I think they have finally had an awakening that they have allowed Kamala Harris, and before that, Joseph R. Biden, to literally destroy any credibility they used to enjoy as journalists, thus losing more than half their audience. They're almost in a small room talking to themselves. So they're thinking now, I'm smart enough to know she's probably going to lose. And that's why they have a plan in place now. All of a sudden, oh my goodness, Donald J. Trump, who was president for 4 years, had the country prospering. They're using the Hitler word now. You can't hand the presidency over to Hitler, right? They got a million deceitful plans. It's going to be interesting, and it's going to be nail biting. And when you have a nail like this, Karen keeps telling me, she puts the hedge clippers there. I mean the nail clippers, the hedge clippers she once put in my underwear drawer. It was her way of saying, shape up, buddy. Shape up. I didn't plan to say that. But Joseph Kelly, my sensor is gone. The last four digits of my phone number. Oh, you use the last four digits of your phone to sign in and out of work. That's interesting. Yeah, when they start doing fingerprints, we're that much closer to the end of the end days. Marty Greco is here as well. Welcome, Marty Greco. Hi, how you doing? Oh, I forgot to. I don't know if Nancy DeMarco's here. She sent us some pictures. People are starting to send me pictures now saying you can share them with the viewers. If you tell me that, I will get to it. I promise, including you, Miss Susan Carter. You like my shirt too? It's Karen's shirt. Where she likes to wear. She's not as heavy as me, but she likes to wear a big shirt like I do. And the Jimmy Stir shirts never come beyond 2X, so it's highlighting my abs too much, but this not as much when I'm standing up, but that is the headless horseman there. Sleepy Hollow, established 1790. Pretty groovy place, lots of nice places to visit there. Don McLean will be at the Terrytown Music Hall December 6th. Okay, he's past his prime, but when he was in his prime, he was excellent. So downtown William Brown joins us as well. So this is the deal. They have a tele hall. No, it was, people could show up there. Anderson Cooper CNN as a town hall with Kamala. She basically stayed off the trail to prepare for this. But as her staff knows, Kamala is, how you say, it rhymes with hazy. Let's just put it that way. And she always shows up very unprepared. And I love the answer to one of her questions when somebody from the audience asked her a simple question that Donald Trump could have asked. I think it was something to do with the feds. And she said, well, I may not be as quick to answer immediately, but that's because I want to really think about what you had to say and talk with others and have advisors and formulate formulate the what she wanted to say is the response that'll likely please you enough so you could consider voting for me. So Anderson was getting tired of her word salads. He was getting tired of her. She is the most, I don't want to say a bad word, something that rhymes with Cupid. She is the least prepared person that's ever probably run, certainly in my lifetime, for the presidency of the United States. The least prepared person. Joe Biden, in his prime, knew far more than hair. He knew far more than her, but nevertheless, Joe was said to be by Ted Kennedy as the dumbest guy in the United States Senate. That's what Ted Kennedy said when he was asked. He said, well, that would have to be Joe. That would have to be Joe. So there you go. There you go. This is what we're facing here in 2024. But now Anderson Cooper, he wasn't having it. He'd go back and he'd ask her the question again. Is there anything that you can say that you have done, the mistakes you have made that you would do differently now? You know, and she just danced around it. Well, I've been a parent. Well, you've been a parent to Doug's kids, a stepmom. And you know, all parents, make mistakes. I've made mistakes in my life, but there's not an ounce, a shred of sincerity in this woman, except when she talks about wanting to pack the Supreme Court. Somebody asked about that. Oh, well, she's not going to use the word packing because that could cost her voters. But we have to take a look at this because we don't like the answers anymore that are coming from the Supreme Court. And there's not enough of judges that will vote with us 98% of the time, no matter what we're trying to do. Let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, the liberal justices, if you want to use that word, some of them, it would fit for that, like Sotomayor. Um, I would say she's liberal and not progressive. That would be one. Um, the liberal justices are not great Supreme Court justices. They're just not. You got one that can't define a woman. You've got people that just vote liberal no matter what the issue is. And then sometimes, on rare occasions, they surprise you and they stand up for what's right. So that's a good thing. But when you get to Clarence Thomas and Kavanaugh and, well, the Supreme Court head judge, we're never quite sure where he's going to go, but he's a godly man, and he usually makes the right choice in a pinch, usually. Sam Semi, 99 cents on the Cash App. I mean, the thanks button. Thank you so very much for doing that. It certainly helps. Every contribution helps. And thank you for doing that. We'll talk more about that later. I'm not going to mention that now, but I am very appreciative. And I love it when new people do it. So it's not, the same people feeling they need to do it. But I'm very aware, especially in these tough times with lots of competition and what have you, that that I have a core audience that loves our live shows and loves what we do here. Now, sometimes when we talk about politics, that will upset some people, so I try not to do that. But we are so close now to the most important election, and there's so much stuff happening. I can't help it till after November 5th. I can't help get it in there. But I'll spread it out. Marlene, good evening to all. Good evening, Marlene. Nancy is here. Nancy Whitmore. Hello. And she's talking about Whittington Island. Well, that sounds like a fun place to go. It's not like Epstein Island, is it, Laura? No. I'm sure it's not. Cindy's ancestry is southern Louisiana, French settlers. I also decided to learn how to speak Cajun French. Huh. I see. Very interesting. Oui? Katina says, I'll finish watching tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Okay. Thank you, Katina, for stopping by, though, live. I appreciate that very much. Good to have you here, Marlene. And again, thank you, Sammy. So, Didn't have too much prep time this afternoon because Karen has been having this kind of problems with her jaw and feeling that her gland was swollen. So we had a 4:20 appointment for Willie Loomis, our cat, star of Dark Shadows at one time. There was only one cat on Dark Shadows, and that darn cat, just kept jumping off the chair out of frame. That was supposed to be Joshua Collins, and Angelique turned Joshua Collins into a cat for a while. Except this cat, he looked like he was ticked off to be there. He didn't want to be on camera, and after a while, he would just jump out of frame. Jody Smith, $2 on the thanks button. Thank you so much, Judy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. These are our loyal people here, and as I say, every little bit helps. It really does. Seeing if I've missed anybody. If I have, just say so. 50 people watching right now, 24 likes. Hit the notification bell. Yes, don't forget to subscribe. We'd like to get to 10,000 by Christmas. By Christmas. And Jody backs it up with another $1 on the thanks button. Jody, you're a blessing. Thank you, Jody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So Karen decided that, well, her doctor, Dr. Rometta, who's 104 now, I think. I mean, it's getting a little weird because I think, he was definitely my mother's doctor, and my mom passed away in 2002. And I used to go there occasionally from time to time, and I'd say, yeah, he's looking pretty old. That was 2002, and he's still doing it. He retired for 2 weeks and then came back. He just couldn't do it. So he has a nice, big, beautiful house on Orchard Street that he does his practice in, but he's now affiliated with Middletown Medical. So they take care of that kind of stuff. And he's an employee of Middletown Medical. But he does what he wants. And for a while, he did 1 day a week at Middletown Medical, but that stopped. And, he works, he starts like at 6 o'clock in the morning. He may do telemeds at 6 in the morning if you want a telemed. And he's out of there by 1, 2 in the afternoon. And he works Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, he's not there. Thursday he is, and Friday is his early day. So maybe he's out of there by 10 or 11 in the morning. That's his schedule. No more hospital visits or anything like that. But he's still beloved. He's still beloved, and Karen's been going to him for a long time, and he's very thorough. He's very thorough. He could teach those young whippersnappers what it's like. Well, think, well, I'm not going to be calling you personally. He will. He will. Sammy is demonstrating his French skills, maybe? Yeah. It's the last dance for walls. Well, I haven't heard that story yet because I've been so busy. So we're having the Thursday night Worldwide Ramblings and Sunday night at 6 p.m. East Coast time, because I am deliberately working around the Yankees World Series. I mean, they haven't been in a World Series since the last time they won it in 2009. And I just feel I need to watch it. Karen will be watching her 90-day fiasco on the computer with her headbuds on, thank God. And I'll be watching a little bit of Mark Levin, a little bit of World Series, but mostly World Series, Trey Gowdy, I'm afraid, doesn't stand a chance this week because I'll be watching the Yankees and maybe listening to some of it on the radio because that's where John Sterling is, Yankees radio legend who decided to retire in April, but they asked him to come back to do the playoffs, and it has led to the World Series. He's well into his 80s now, and he's still got it. So that'll be great. That'll be great. Michael Kay will be doing, of course, the television version. He's okay, but he's not as big a Yankee fan as John Sterling is. Teresa Lee Leonard is here. Hello, Teresa Lee Leonard. How are you? Bayou girl. Yeah, you got things to talk to Cindy about. All those times you nearly were eaten up by an alligator and things like that. Your love for crawfish, your love for Jimmy Swaggart. So many things. So many things. So, well, I'll have to check that out. So it was just interesting. I didn't watch the town hall, but they were playing clips on Fox, and these reporters are sick of defending Kamala Harris. Kudos to Alex Wagner, who had like a room full of black gentlemen, and she didn't know what their views were, but they were 100% for Trump because unlike the scarecrow, they do have a brain. And I know I offend a few people by saying that. I don't mean to. Well, sort of, because it really gets under my skin when when people say, "Well, there's too many white people on the Republican side, too many." They could say men too, white men on the Republican side. Flip that. What if I were to sit here and say, well, if I say it, someone will put it out of context that I did say it. But I wouldn't. I wouldn't because even though Republicans, most of them, and there's always going to be, there's always going to be hillbilly, uh, you know, rednecks. There's always going to be that. And they come in all flavors, I think. Um, but, even when I was a young lad in the 70s looking to sin down in New York City, even then, uh, a show would come on the weekend called, excuse me for a second. Ah, a show would come on the weekend called Positively Black. And there was another one with a very similar title. And I thought, what is that all about? You mean a white person couldn't come on this show? Soul Train. Okay, that's a little different. They're playing soul music. There's a few white artists that have attempted, like Mitch Ryder, to do a soulful type sound. In fact, Bobby J, who's a black disc jockey, used to be on CBS FM, and he sings. He has a group as well that he's involved with. Um, when he introduced Mitch Ryder, he said, um, "Here's the man, the inventor of Blue-Eyed Soul, Mitch Ryder, and the Detroit Wheels." So I always thought, if God created us all equal, we're never going to stop the division. We're never going to stop the hatred if we have Positively Black as the name of our show. We certainly wouldn't have a show called Positively White, would we? So I always reverse it. I say, what if I said that? And it seems a little bit racist to me. It seems a little bit racist to me. This is not a matter of skin color. It's a matter of one candidate that will make America great again. And it was that way when he was president. And a woman who has already announced, if you've been paying attention, a blueprint for sending America into the deep blue sea. So if you have grandchildren, if you have anybody that you care about their future, Kamala's plans, surrounded by other progressives, we'll do one more video in my homage to Rush series on Monday, and top 7. I don't have the formal title, but say the top 7 events that will happen if progressives win. We'll lay it out there. And we don't do it in an extreme way. By the way, I'll tell you what one of those top 7 are. She will censor the media. She's already said it. There has to be special rules in place for Facebook, um, Google, YouTube, um, and definitely X and things like that. She wants government control while claiming to be for democracy. She is more a model, a blueprint for a dictatorship. Everything they accuse Trump of being for, everything they say will happen if Trump gets reelected, you have to worry about with them. That's just the way it is. Donald Trump is not a threat to democracy. Now, one time while joking, and they said, "Would you be a dictator in the presidency?" Instead of saying, "Of course not," he made a joke and said, "I'd be a dictator for one day. Drill, baby, drill." In other words, he would bring back fracking in a big way. And a dumb way to put it. Trump has done this before. He doesn't think about the best way to put things. And he said it. He's going to be a dictator on the first day. They twisted the whole thing. The whole thing, Ted Richards. And you have a banjo, a pickup, and you are well on your way to Hillbillium. Well, then watch Moonshiners. When are they bringing my Moonshiners back? They've been shooting now since the late spring. I want to see my first episode of Moonshiners. I really do. So that's the story. 55 watching right now. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and notification bell. So that's what we'll do. Sunday night, we'll do 6 o'clock East Coast time for Worldwide Ramblings as we work around the World Series. But tomorrow, somewhere around noon, part two of the top 50 reasons why Bob Joyce may be Elvis. Features roll-in video, and we'll do another 10 in early November, and then we'll finish up the final top 20 all in one show. That's how we plan to do it. But please watch that. Share it with your friends. If there's an Elvis group that you know of on Facebook that will put the video on and you're in that group, can you find out from the administrator if they put that video on and they can put it on their group on Facebook? That would be a great help to me. That would be a great help to me. The more outlets, the better. The more outlets, the better. One Hip Chick is here, is she? Oh, hello, Jack and everyone. Hi, One Hip Chick. What's going on with you today? You're not sitting there with a bong, are you? You're not sitting there with a bong. Did you ever, you and your friends back in the day, did you ever have a wiffle bat? You know what I'm talking about, One Hip Chick, when I say wiffle bat? Hmm? Susan is talking about Pastor Bob Joyce sometimes gets out of breath. It's not always at the end either. Sometimes he doesn't, and sometimes he does. Because Jody Smith said, I noticed online with Pastor Bob in his services, he sings some songs from younger days, if you know what I mean, that you know what you're looking at and your eyes don't deceive. Yeah. As I have said, including in this new series, the top 50 reasons why Bob Joyce may be Elvis. In the last few years, it's the pastor himself that has been the number one content producer. Some that he couldn't help when tragedy struck in January of 2022. Just the worst kind of thing. And some that he couldn't help because no matter what he says about you don't need Paul, you don't need Cyprus, you don't need Peter, you don't need Bob, and you don't need Elvis. He just he has a sense of humor. He's not a personified saint of God. As Paul the Apostle said when he talked about perfection, he said, "Not that I've already attained it, but I press on towards the high calling in Jesus Christ." And that's the key. Pastor Bob presses on. But if we looked at his life in the last, say, since 2011, would we see things here that would probably make him not show up next Sunday? So you got a gun in my head and you just asked me this question? I'm going to say you definitely would. And it's true about any man on the planet. That's why I get a little annoyed at pastors sometimes. They're always preaching correction, and the whole thing is to correct the flock when they know that they have the same struggles as well. They have the same struggles as well. So I don't expect a pastor to be, a fully surrendered, always anointed child of God. We see the anointing come on Pastor Bob when he steps on that altar, and that means that God is pleased with him. God is pleased with him and is anointing him and has chosen him, whether we understand the way he did it or not. Whether we understand the way he did it or not. But that doesn't mean, you know what the biggest lie song in the church is that's ever been. You want to get a whole congregation to lie during your Sunday service? All you have to do is get them to sing, "I surrender all. I surrender all. If you follow me next week, you won't see it. But for now, I will be singing, I surrender all." Of course, I'm still going to watch Real Housewives this week. I'm still going to think about sex. I'm still going to eat too much at the buffet, and that could mean gluttony problem. But I surrender all. I surrender all. I've seen people for the many, many years I've been following the Lord Jesus, and I rarely ever found someone that sometimes surrenders all. I didn't mean to say that, but that's the truth. I'm sorry, one hip chick, I had to say it. Don't hit me with your bell bottoms. By the way, did you ever answer that wiffle ball thing? That wiffle bat? Anastasia, she likes Ted. She's wearing her glasses. Uh, Anastasia. And have no fear, Bob Joyce is here, and so is Elvis Semi. I grew up, it wasn't Bob Joyce, it was Smith. Have no fear, Smith is here. Dr. Zachary Smith, Lost in Space, Jonathan Harris. It's just, I still watch those interviews once in a while that he did, because they're just Jonathan Harris's interviews on Lost in Space and other things that he's done were absolutely wonderful. He was meant to be just on a few shows really as the villain, but he knew he wanted to keep working, so he made that villain have a comedic side, and then they gave him the robot. And as soon as the kids sat there and heard Dr. Zachary Smith call the robot, "You bubble-headed booby," they loved him. They loved him. So Jonathan Harris becomes the star of Lost in Space, even though he's the last name in the credits. He insisted on special guest star every week, special guest star Jonathan Harris. And now Guy Williams, who was Zorro, for goodness sakes, who was supposed to be the star, is a little taken aback. But he stayed for 3.5 years for the money. He wasn't stupid. He saved and invested, and then he went back to Buenos Aires. I don't really say that right, do I, Tedward? Buenos Aires. And there he is it's like Princess Diana in London. He can do no wrong. He was Zorro. So Perón government, right? It was Perón. He gives him the most beautiful apartment in Buenos Aires, um, kind of a condo, very expensive. He gives it to him for free, Guy Williams, because he was Zorro. Guy Williams grows back that little pencil mustache that he had when he played Zorro. And he does appearances and things like that as Zorro. And that's how he lives out his days for 20 years before he died over there. He rarely came back to the United States, wants to do Family Feud with June Lockhart and a few other members, but Bill Mumy didn't want to do it. And Jonathan Harris called Bill Mumy and said, "Are you going to do it?" He said, "No, it's just not my thing. I hate that kind of television. I'm busy." Bill Mumy was always working. And Jonathan said, "Well, then I won't either. If they don't have us, they have nothing." I grew up in Georgia, just outside of Atlanta and Doraville. Now, that's where Dora the Explorer should be from One Hip Chick, from Doraville. That would work. Warning, warning, Will Robinson. Warning, warning. So all those insults, which sometimes went on for a long time, were written by Jonathan Harris. In fact, most of the dialogue that he had with like Bill Mumy, who he would interact with a lot, Jonathan was given the permission by Irwin Allen, the creator, to rewrite the dialogue because they saw how gifted he was. Jonathan Harris said, "I never fancied myself as a writer, but I'm a pretty good rewriter." So they would give him the script, and Bill Mumy would be standing there, and he'd be looking, and he'd say, "No, no, 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 that's not good. No, no, not that. I can make it better. I can make it better." So then he would go home on the weekend and he would rewrite parts of the script. And with the permission of Irwin Allen, he said, "I never had that in my entire career where I was given that kind of power." But what happened is they noticed that Jonathan Harris, as Dr. Zachary Smith, was sneaking in more and more comedy and what have you. And Irwin Allen came up to him in his trailer and said, "I know what you're doing. More. Give me more." And then Jonathan thought about it and he said, "I got to make sure I'm understanding what he said." So he went to see Mr. Allen and he said, "When you said more, I can do and rewrite what I want to as it pertains to my character and the robot and Bill Mumy, Will Robinson." He says, "Anything you want." That's a pretty good thing. Well, Todd Bradshaw, not Terry Bradshaw, is talking to One Hip Chick. I grew up outside of Atlanta as well as Peachtree City. Wow, that must be a cool place to live. Peachtree City. Are there a lot of peach trees nearby? Um, yeah. I was listening this week to some Orion songs because we'll talk about Orion in the next edition of the top 50 reasons why Bob Joyce may be Elvis. We'll talk about Orion. That's one of the things we cover. And as I said, we'll have roll-in video from the Elvis story and roll-in video as we get to the Bob Joyce story. Now, as we go along in the top 50, it'll be more and more Bob Joyce. It'll be more and more Bob Joyce. It's been more Elvis than Bob Joyce, with the last two being about Bob Joyce, but that's going to now reverse course as we get further along in our story. And we are putting new stuff in there. We are putting stuff in and video in that I've never put in before. And, you can have a fast hit video. You can have a slick video that has an utter disregard that you might hurt the pastor himself, Pastor Bob Joyce. We try to do it in a delicate way, and make clear that we are speaking about possibilities. Never will I put up a video that has a picture of Pastor Bob Joyce and underneath it someone has written in Elvis Presley. I won't do that. I won't do that. It's a bridge too far. It's a bridge too far. And ultimately, we have to be aware that since 2011, the Holy Spirit has kind of kept this story in check, limited attention, and that appears to be the will of the Holy Spirit. There's only one unforgivable sin, that's the blaspheming of the Holy Spirit. So I try to do a lot of positive videos on Bob Joyce. And we always make it clear, we speak of possibilities of what may have been in the future, what may have been in the past, and we try to keep it somewhat respectful. But if you want to be the guy, go for it, because I've never had an interest being the guy. I don't want to be the guy. Could I be wrong? Yes. Could I stop liking pizza? No. Oh, dear, Nancy DeMarco, I forgot to take pictures of your picture. So Sunday night at 6, we will show you then. I tried to take a picture after I forgot to take a picture of Marty Greco, and then it froze the chat. So I don't know how that happened. I don't have the technical knowledge here of any of this, but that's what we will do Sunday night. And so if you want your picture to be part of our Sunday night worldwide ramblings, send it to me in the email, please, at jackthefairguy, F-A-I-R, jackthefairguy@gmail.com, jackthefairguy@gmail.com. So in the headline, in the title of this video, I talked about feedback from the Bob Joyce crew, and sometimes the Elvis crew. Like there's always people that say that they're related or they're friends with someone who is related. And that's why you're going to find tomorrow's video interesting. Perhaps. I mean, it's not like you don't know about it, but still, I make a point there in terms of relatives. But they'll come on and they'll start, and it's disrespectful to Elvis's memory and all that. As we go up to now, we've got 6 dozen coincidences that are worth an explanation. Especially when it comes from relatives who say, what they say. I'll just go that far for now. So I say, well, it's just not for you. It's just not for you. I don't go on Billy Smith's channel, and I've never been on there. I've looked at it. He seems like a fine chap. I got nothing to say against him. I'm sure he doesn't like me, him and the ladies. I understand. I've never gotten a personal email. But I would certainly listen to what you have to say. Jack the Fair Guy, Fair. But if I feel it's incorrect information, then that's what I feel. I have a right, just like you have a right to think I'm an a-hole. You have that right. But when it becomes people like to think of this as a safe place. A lot of people here think the pastor was once the king of rock and roll. It's just the way it is. And they have a right to have their group, Like I don't go on someone else's group or channel and try to, attack the people that are there. I don't do that. Fair? Fair enough? Gail George, where have you been? You're tatty. Oh, you were out to dinner with Barbara Kendall. I see now. Well, that's all right then. If it was about food, I can understand it more. Hi, Gail. How are you? Hi, Barbara Kendall from the Kendalls. We all remember the Kendalls. That's when country music started to change, Barbara, when you came along. It started to go more contemporary sounding. You started to leave that old school country behind. So I have gotten some of that. And sometimes someone will make a good point. since we talked about uh, something I had never really fully pondered, that Lisa Marie would not have been able to keep the secret if she was told when she was 10 years old. And so that there would have been a time, there could have been years. And yeah, that does give you food for thought, because Elvis wouldn't want to be away from Lisa for years. And when he finally did reveal himself, give the go ahead, what would be her attitude towards him? That's all fair game. I admit it. It's all fair game. But the general story is told in this book right now, which I'm reading. And Sunday night, we'll go over it somewhat. I'm not going to read anything that's copyrighted material, but I'll give you my thoughts of what's in the book. And yours are welcome as well. Yours are welcome as well. Sunday night on the special 6 o'clock edition of Worldwide Ramblings as I work around the Yankees World Series. And so there's a lot of things to consider here. But as I said, that I certainly don't believe when there's billows and billows and billows of smoke, there is no fire. That wouldn't make sense to me. That wouldn't make sense to me either. So this is a complicated little tale, isn't it? It's a complicated tale, Anastasia and Laura. If it happened that way and Lisa found Elvis was alive, that must have destroyed her. I think the thing that really, and it says this in the book, um, that the thing that really destroyed Lisa Marie was the death of her son Ben, the suicide of her son Ben. But yeah, um, what would that be like if you didn't find out till you're 16? And yeah, I have to be honest. I can't see Elvis staying away from Lisa Marie for that much time. Um, and then they talk about the abuse the alleged abuse in the book of with Michael Edwards and Lisa Marie from 10 through 13, which say we were right about the pastor being who we think he may have once been, if you want to put it that way. And he found out about that. He might forget. He might say, well, now let's see, that commandment really means thou shalt not murder. I won't be murdering him or having someone do it. It'd be more like killing. And that's, there's lots of killing in the Bible, justifiable killing in the Bible. So he might look at it that way, because he loved Lisa Marie. So that is a gray area. I will give you that. It is a gray area. Well, William has joined us, and he's talking to Vicky. It's a family here. Redneck Ways. What I have heard, it's going to be a great read. Yeah, I've only started Redneck Ways. I've only started, and it already is. The early part of the book is mostly Lisa Marie's words from tape. And then as the book goes on, it's more and more Riley Keough, more and more Riley Keough. Don't forget to watch the video When Doves Cry, Riley Keough. It's a great video. She does a great song with a Prince song. I appreciated it more when I heard Riley sing When Doves Cry than I did when I heard Prince sing it. And Prince is jamming. Don't get me wrong. It was a musical genius. But I enjoy Riley's version more because I think it was kind of meant almost for a female perspective. And Riley does a great job on that song. So make sure you buy Riley Keough music. I haven't checked yet on Spotify to see what's available, but someone sent me the video. That's how I found out about it, you see. So, a lot of people are very positive in their comments, and those that have a feedback, as long as you're civil about it, you know, I'll listen to you. I'll listen to you. But just like it isn't worth much to say, I believe that Bob Joyce is Elvis and not tell us why you believe that. It doesn't carry much when you say Elvis is dead, get over it, or something like that. Uh, or they say a few things that nothing that is supported by anything you could check or what have you. It's pointless. Jody says, my take is I think she has been in contact with him. I just think she doesn't want to say anything out of fear for those people who actually believe that the funeral was legit. I know there are fans that feel the funeral was legit. Anybody in the Elvis camp would probably know that, as best as we can tell, Elvis did not die in August of 1977. We could get to the top 100 if we included all of that information. So, what's up with you, William? Yesterday, I received Pastor Bob's 3 CD set, mostly classic hymns, and my ear is telling me there is no way anyone could mimic every single word, accent, and vibrato as Elvis did. See, I'm just a disc jockey who played those songs on the radio, and I don't have that kind of ear. I have is this going to be a hit? Let me check it out now. Let's see. A new song would come in, and then the music director would put it in there, and I'd pick up the 45, and I'd say, the Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose, It's Too Late to Turn Back Now. And I would play the song next. And the song would be playing, and I would instantly know that this would be a huge hit, that we wouldn't be suddenly dropping this in a hurry. It's too late to turn back now. But could you imagine if they released Treat Her Like a Lady in 2024? See, a woman is sentimental and so easy to offend. And then he gets around to saying, but, if you treat her right, she'll give in to you. She'll give in to you. I can't imagine. And She's a Lady by Tom Jones, another one. Some songs are just not for this era. They're just not for this era. As I say, can you imagine? And Tom Jones has talked about this when he gets handed Delilah and he realizes this is a song about a guy murdering his girlfriend when he finds her to be unfaithful. Yeah, you just couldn't do that in 2024, and we're probably better for it. Although they were all great songs, by the way. Yeah, Riley does sing, and she's got a beautiful voice, one hip chick. I would say it's somewhat like her mother, someone like her mom, and you will love the video. I think you will, When Doves Cry. Set at the Palais. That's in France, right? It's all white, and it's a big bird cage, and there's so many people in that video. And Riley's on a big white swing, swinging along, swinging along. I don't know if this is the work or AI or not, but I saw a black and white photo of a young Elvis in the military that he signed for a fan and used the alias Bob Joyce. Could be fake or legit. If you can send that to me in my email, I'd love to see it, William. If you come across it again, Jack the Fair Guy, Fair, Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. If you want to send your picture in the email, please let me know in the text of the email that you are giving me permission to show your photo on the air. Jack, on the other hand, though, is the night gag by Elvis Presley Enterprises. Slow down there, Jody. I've never felt that Elvis Presley Enterprises would not go along with Elvis's wishes. Should he be alive? Because there's money to be made. Just like they found out that Elvis was worth more dead than alive. Elvis resurrected. I mean, Dexter's going to do this next year. Maybe they should do it at the same time. Dexter Resurrection comes to Showtime, and I think around July of 2025. Right now, Michael C. Hall is busy doing Dexter First Blood, where he's only the narrator and the executive producer, and a kid is playing Dexter, learning the code of the serial killer in that family, which was that you only kill the baddies. You only kill the baddies. You never kill the good people. You kill the scum. The scum. That's who you kill. And his father will be played by Jack Nicholson's son. Not really, but oh my God. Oh, scares me. I tell you. Who am I talking about? One hip chick. It's so close to the tip of my tongue, Seen a number of his movies, and everyone says he reminds them of Jack Nicholson. Mary Cole, hi, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. William, I also saw the picture of E with a Bob signature. There's a picture on somebody's site, isn't there, that they put up that has a picture of Bob Joyce and it's signed Elvis Presley. And I commented on that a few minutes ago. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't put that up that way. But that's just me. That's just me. Riley said, this is what it sounds like when the girls cry. She does sing doves, though, at some point, right? Because the song is When Doves Cry. But does she at some point slip in the lyric Girls Cry? Thought of Lisa Marie's book. Yeah, very good observation. If that should be true, Susan Safiati. Victoria Winters Matthews. Susan, I think that she is so pretty, and the song was awesome. Well, I've never realized her full beauty because I never watched The Girlfriend Experience on Stars, was it? Yes. Someday I will have Victoria Winters. I will have victory over the flesh. But unfortunately, simultaneously, I will have no pulse. No pulse. I'll be dead. If I fall down the stairs, maybe first I have bled, and then I'll be dead. It's not the way I want to go, by the way. So I'll be listening for that now when I listen to that song again. Interesting. It's just like I used to listen to that popular ditty. This is scary. There's a viewer out there say, I told you about the carnivore diet. Take away that brain fog. Oh, okay. Secret Agent Man. I at least got this one. Secret Agent Man by Johnny Rivers. At least once in that song, he says Secret Asian Man. I am absolutely convinced of it. I've heard him say it. I'm confident in that. Darren. I thought it said Darren Bestie at first because I'm not wearing any specs right now. But stable. Just mind your head, Jack. Oh, I'm going out of my head. In fact, my head seems to be missing. And there are certainly people in Arkansas and near it that would agree with that. I've lost me blooming mind. My cerebellum and my medulla are on the fritz. They're on the fritz. I'm a few fries short of a happy meal for sure. I'm not the brightest bulb on the tree. Now, Brother Bruno's already has their Christmas tree up. My favorite pizza place, but they have it decorated Halloweeny. So, they're all set. They don't have to put up the Christmas tree when they start the Christmas decorations. They were all big Mets fans over there, and they got their heart broken on Sunday night, and I felt really bad for them because we wanted a Subway Series, we wanted a Subway Series here in New York. And by the way, if it had been the Mets that got in and not the Yankees, I would be rooting for the Mets as a New Yorker. It's funny, I feel funny saying I have pride in New York because um, it used to be the greatest city, New York City. It's not anymore, I don't believe. When you can't bring your family down there and be assured that they'll be safe, when you don't prosecute crime in the five boroughs like you should. And by the way, I'm not talking about nonviolent offenses, or very petty theft, like you put a pack of gum in your pants or something. If a rich person can get out and not have to worry about bail, then you should be able to get out. It's the violent offenses, it's the serious crime and what have you that I'm talking about here. Yeah. We have 61 watching. Hi, everybody. Hello, replay crowd, too. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we talked a little bit about the critics. It's just par for the course here. But we have a lot of positive comments. Well, the positive comments far exceed the negative feedback. Sometimes someone will have a valid point, and I'll admit to that, and I'll try to alter what I do in some cases. So Andy came up here today, and we spent quite a while putting together the clips that are going to be in the next top 10 reasons Bob Joyce's Elvis, which debuts. I'm going to move it up to about noon tomorrow. And I can't say we won't pop on or do a little pre-recorded video. For some reason, there's a couple of things rolling in my head, although you don't want to compete with yourself. You don't want to do that, although it works fine for some people, apparently. And then Sunday night, we'll have Worldwide Ramblings at 11 o'clock East Coast time. 11 o'clock. What am I saying? 6 p.m. Sunday evening. I was thinking about something else, and I just went into an automatic wrap because I've said that before, but we usually come on by 10 o'clock. We have done midnight ramblings as well, and sometimes I like to come on at a real oddball time and see who we get. Come on at 4 o'clock in the morning and see who we get. I'd love to come on at 6 in the morning and do that, but it's not easy. It's not easy. Because we hear from a lot of international people, it seems, in the replay, because it's too late right now for them. I will try to mind my head, as Darren Bestable. I forget where you're from. Yes, the girls cry when they're abused, and there's been a lot of that since we've had a number of undocumented migrants that already had records and were never vetted when they came over. So my gut feeling is that there's going to be enough smart people not to let America be destroyed by Kamala Harris, that many Democrats are against her. Many journalists now are tired of having their reputations ruined as they try to defend someone who is indefensible. So I have to be honest and say, when you tell me that your Trump derangement syndrome is the reason you will let America slide into the crapper, I can't respect that. But it's your right to say it. So I'm really fearful if he does win this presidency, and I think he may have God's vote at this point, especially after what she did last weekend when those young boy got up as she was singing the praises of abortion and lying about Trump, and he said, "Jesus Christ is Lord." Jesus Christ is King. She looked at him with her evil grin and said, "Oh, you're in the wrong rally. What a stupid thing to say, huh? What a stupid thing to say. Her own people, her handlers that try to program her, must have cringed when she said that. But then she gave the sign for them to be escorted out. And they kept proclaiming both of them then kept proclaiming their faith on the way out the door. And God was well pleased. God will not be mocked. So that makes me think that he will have a vote come election day. And the early voting in Georgia, North Carolina, and they show the line, so you kind of get the idea, right? They show the voting line. Looking real good, but God's will be done. And then they're going to try to stop Trump. My prediction, this is just my opinion, is they will try to stop him from assuming the office. Everything they say Trump would do, no more elections if Trump gets elected again. All the stuff they say he will do, it's really them. You know, we have opened up the curtain and we have seen that the Wizard of Oz is a pathetic little person who hates God, hates the Constitution, and will try to censor social media, including Google and YouTube. She said it, find it, 2019. She hasn't changed these views. She's just suspended them until she gets elected. So you don't want that, right? You might not mind Elon Musk going to jail because, as he told Tucker Carlson, well, it was actually Tucker that said it to him. I'm going to clean up the language here. If Trump doesn't get in, you're screwed. He says, yeah, I'm screwed. I'll be going to jail. Wonder if they'll let me see my children. That's what Elon Musk said. Funny line from Elon Musk. He was talking about, he fired like 90% of the Twitter people, and then it turned into X. And this one guy was challenging him as to why he was losing his job. And Elon said to him, he said, look, we're trying to build the first strip club on Mars, and all you're doing is sitting at your desk creating memes on the computer. You're dead wood. We don't need you. The first strip club in Mars, and I can't even say, and Richard would go because Richard doesn't appear to be here unless he's catching the replay. I don't figure Richard to be a big replay crowd. He's either here live or he's not. I could be wrong. I could be crazy. There are people that think so. Just because my therapist had a nervous breakdown and can't see me anymore, there's no reason to think that I may have a screw loose, Jody. Now she was coming up with this healthy. Jody's like that Cajun chef. What was it, Justin Wilson, who puts the chicken in the lard. You got to put a lot of lard in with your chicken, make it nice and crispy. Jody says eating square cut home fries and bacon and raspberry sweet tea. And we're not talking the diet version with Splenda or what's the other one? Karen likes the other sweetener. That one. No, we're talking a sugary broth, so to speak, but chilled. Oh, Jody. But of course, you run 10 miles a day on the treadmill, so you certainly help that way. Trump 2024 says, Barbara Kendall, I'm with you. Are you with us or against us? Some I know, I'm not talking about the beer Guinness. Are you with us or against us? I think Granny Clampett used to say that. Are you with me or against me? Then she'd go out and find some roadkill for her, roadkill stew. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Tom. Anyway, Canada is going to have something about drag and God knows, Sachelle. It's only in your mind. I have to go into the crevices of your mind to understand what you're saying sometimes. And let's face it, even Rod Serling wouldn't want to go there. Not even Rod Serling. Here's someone new from the UK. Well, hi. Incessa Carol. Now you sound like a spy, maybe in a James Bond film. No, it's not Incessa. It's Inessa, maybe something like that. Hi, welcome. Is this your first time watching? Have you seen us before? We're all a pretty likable bunch here. Patrick Wilborn, peace and love to everybody. You too, Patrick. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You seem sweet, one hip chick. Yeah, that's called a line. But I'm sure he's sincere, Daz Darren Bestable. But of course, he's not basing on a whole lot of information. No, not sweet and low, but I use that. You know, what's the hip one? The hip one that everybody uses now. Come on. Oh, geez. 3 times tonight. I'm scared myself. But I use sweet and low. They have done further testing on it and say it's not going to cause cancer, but there is no guarantees. You can't look in the camera like that now dead Southern chef who's on RFD and say, I guarantee it. I guarantee it. But no. Stevia, thank you, William, for getting my mind block out. Karen loves the stevia, but she must admit that it doesn't really sweeten enough. So she mixes Splenda sometimes. Depends what she's having, you know. She has what you... Now, I love the hot cereal. Anybody love some hot cereal sometimes, especially... it doesn't really matter to me if it's July. I can enjoy hot cereal. I can enjoy a hot fudge sundae in January when it's 3 degrees below zero. I'm just not going to stand out in the parking lot and eat it, you know? Duh. I'm going to enjoy it inside Carvel. You know, a lot of you don't have a Carvel. You think Dairy Queen is great. Not so much. No. Stevia. Yes, stevia. She loves her cream of wheat. You have said it. Oh, yes. They still have the chef on there. Hasn't he been canceled yet? I think he's still on there, isn't he? The really cool black gentleman with the chef's hat on. And I don't want the instant. I'm going to cook it. 2.5, 3 minutes, I can handle it. And I put more 1% milk in there, maybe even a little spot of half and half sometimes. And then I have to say, well, am I going to be a good boy or am I going to be a bad boy? If I'm going to be a good boy, I'm going to use probably Splenda in there, you know, because stevia doesn't really sweeten. But every once in a while, nobody's looking. I go to the sugar bowl. I get me the sugar bowl and I put 1 lump, 2 lump, 3 lumps. We don't have lumps. We have teaspoons. Maybe I use a tablespoon, William. Maybe I do. And I put a few tablespoons of sugar in my cream of wheat. And it's just like the best macaroni and cheese. It's just like the best pizza. It's a comfort food. It's like when you're down in the dumps, this is what you do. I've been telling you this. You go to the Poco Jammer Network. Poco. I'm not saying poker. And don't do that, William. Poco Jammer Network.org. Saturday night at 6 p.m. East Coast time. You'll have to do that math yourself if you're not on the East Coast. 6 o'clock East Coast time, or Sunday morning at 11 a.m. East Coast time, a whole different show with the Polka King, 18-time Grammy winner Jimmy Sturr. And you can be down in the dumps and your spirit will rise. He will make you feel good. Just like macaroni and cheese, just like great pizza, just like great Chinese buffet, just like you're in Maine and you're having the halibut, just for the halibut, or the cod from Culver's. I'm all of a sudden getting very hungry, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and germs, I'm getting very hungry. One hip chick loves hot cereals, really. So are you an oatmeal person? Because if you love the oatmeal, you got to come to Poco Weekend in April. Because Villa Roma Resort, which has just been bought by the Fay Corporation, they're going to do all this remodeling over there. They make the best oatmeal. They make the best oatmeal in that kitchen. And they have a breakfast buffet on both Saturday and Sunday. It's all included in your price. You know, it's going to cost you for a couple, it's going to cost you not that far from $900, but you get 2 nights lodging. You get 8 delicious gourmet meals. Let's see, you get 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. You get 5 delicious gourmet meals. When you get there, there's a welcome party with open bar, and there's all these polka bands. It's not just Jimmy Stir. Then there's a separate club show on Saturday night. We never know till the last minute whether it's going to be a comedian or what it's going to be. We've seen some good ones, like Uncle Floyd, if anybody remembers Uncle Floyd. Ruthie's here. I gotta stop talking for a minute. Uncle Floyd used to have a TV show in New Jersey, and Art Rooney, who was a radio disc jockey, was his sidekick. Looney Rooney on Uncle Floyd. Art Rooney was also a very gifted radio jock. He really was. He was very funny live. I was surprised. He made it clear, though, there'll be no filming me. And when he said it, he said, I'm doing this show for the people in this room. Don't you put me on YouTube. And then he looked right at me because he just said it, and I stopped filming instantly. Oh dear, I can't open up a cough drop. It's become that bad, Ruthie. I used to stand over a floor furnace when I was a kid and eat ice cream in the winter. Yes. Yeah, we have a floor furnace here. It's called gravity heat, which means by the time it gets up here to the second floor, forget it. So when it gets really cold, and we've been in a warm spell, it's going back down now. 45 degrees as I talk to you live on this Tuesday night. And it's the 20. What is it? Oh, yes. Why do I think it's Tuesday when it's Thursday? I think I've said Tuesday a few times. It's the 24th. And then on the 27th, we'll have a worldwide rambling Sunday, not Saturday this week, at 6 p.m. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to eat my ice cream outside in a blizzard, I'm going to be in a warm place. Jack, just look for the pink packets and it's sweet and low. Well, yes, I do know that. And it is a good sweetener. It is a good sweetener. Stevia is good for you and all that, but that doesn't really get it sweet enough, especially when you're having your hot cereal, because you're a cream of wheat fan like me, I see, and oatmeal. Mm-hmm. If I had to pick between the two, I'd go with the cream of wheat, but a good oatmeal, yes. Love it, love it, love it. Don't put too much water in there. I put the 1% or the 2% milk in, but then I sometimes put a dab of half and half at the end, Todd Bradshaw, another cream of wheat fan. Yeah. It's an old person's cereal. Probably, right? It's like wall calendars. Only old people get wall calendars now, that kind of thing. Marlene is talking to Susan. I Google Riley when the doves cry and the video came up. Yeah, it's called When Doves Cry. That's the name of the Prince song. She has to call it that. But she might slip in girls somewhere in the song and get away with it. I mean, Prince certainly isn't going to stop her. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Did I miss a donation? Because I see a total of 20. It makes me think I might have missed someone. I would have had to. So I'm going back because I never want to forget to thank people. Well, it says a total of 20. Let me go to my email just in case someone hit the Cash App. My Cash App is Media Guy 56. lowercase letters, MEDIA GUY 56 Media Guy 56 on Cash App for any tip you would like to give me. And we'll go to the email. No, I don't see anything like that. Always have to clear the stuff that they, don't ever look into one of these stock things. You'll get financial mail forever. And I mean a lot of it. I see M. Silva is in the email. Hi, Ken Larkin, if you're out there. You helped me this week again. I'll tell you that in the email, but you did help me. You inspired me. You inspired me. So I got to get your picture on Sunday, Nancy DeMarco. I got to do it. Go back down to the newest entries in our stream here. There's 53 watching right now and 52 likes. Thank you for hitting the like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so we can make our goal of 10,000. I don't have lofty goals, I'd love to go more than that. And but I don't have lofty goals, just reasonable goals. I like the one with Gene Ho too. Nancy is talking to someone else. Really, Todd Bradshaw, $20? Well, where is his entry? Thank you so much, Todd Bradshaw. There it is. I just found it. Thank you, Todd. That's very much appreciated as we work now towards the payment I would get just before Thanksgiving. For the cream of wheat budget. Yeah, I gotta buy some fresh cream of wheat. I'm just about all out, and that's been sitting there all summer. So, I gotta buy a new cooks in 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. I don't want the instant. I want the full experience in my cream of wheat situation from all of us. Yes, thank you very much, Todd Bradshaw, for that $20 you've given before. You have tipped me before. And whether your tip is $1, $2, or $20 or more, as Todd has given, or something in between, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate it. We're under, a lot of competition these days. I'm not going to be able to match that. So my core audience is more and more important. I can't be trying to put up, not going to be able to match that. So my core audience is more and more important. I can't be trying to put up a video every 2 or 3 hours. What you do, as I've said before, is, right now it's great. You're making a ton of money. I get that. Greed is in Christians just about as much as it's in anybody else some of the time. And that's part of it. So, it's thrilling to look at your analytics and see, when you click on revenue and you see that, I get it. But it's going to saturate the topic, so people will start to pull away. People will start to pull away because it's just too much, and then eventually you run out of stuff, and you're rehashing in terms of taking someone else's work and putting your name on it. That's just a place I wouldn't go. I would use excerpts from that work. That's fair use. So there you go. Whatever. Todd, thank you. Thank you. This kind of family is not going to be easily duplicated. You've got to have broadcast talent. You've got to have broadcast talent. You may be a musician. Say someone is a musician and they think, well, that means I've got broadcast talent. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I've heard some real stinkers on the radio, and I've heard some people that I aspire to be like because they are so good. If you listen to WCBS FM, the music sucks now. Used to be great, but Broadway Bill Lee, he can rhyme things a lot, and he's just so on his game in a very limited, very contained format. If they would let him be himself, he'd be even greater. But that's the confines of whatever is left of music on the FM radio. Now, there are some markets that still have AM stations that are playing music that get an audience, like in Memphis, Tennessee. But it's a tough thing. Music on the radio has seen its day. People caring about disc jockeys, unfortunately, sadly, has seen its day. That doesn't mean there aren't exceptions. And it's the older people. So play to the older people if you're playing the music, because they will tune into an AM or FM station. The others won't. And the Z generation don't have spendable cash often. They don't have, or the Y generation don't have spendable cash. So there you go. Thank you, Todd Bradshaw. Thank you, Jody Smith. And thank you, Sam Sammy, all hitting the button tonight. We'll stay on for a little while because people seem to be chatting with each other and what have you. Jody Smith, another $2. Jack, what about malt oatmeal? Yeah. Yeah. Before there was Atkins shakes, before there was all these protein shakes that are out right now, we had stuff like malt oatmeal. Boy, I haven't heard that name in quite a while, but I remember as a kid it was out there. And what's the other one I'm thinking of now? The other one that people would buy for like having a shake experience. Oh, boy. I know we used to have Ovaltine. I'm never quite sure what Ovaltine was, What am I drinking here? Does this taste as good as hot cocoa? No. It's kind of got like a burnt flavor, as I recall, Ovaltine. Why do I want a burnt cocoa? No, I'll have the cocoa. Oh, that Diet Cola that Shell's talking to Ted about. And she had a stroke. Pop is not good for you. Well, there'd be a lot of things that contributed to that stroke. But yeah, I told you about the heart surgeon that said soda, especially cola for some reason, is like liquid death, like liquid death. So I took it from something that I would likely have a lot of to something I would treat myself with a couple of times a week. I'll have a glass of my favorite, which is Pepsi Zero. Pepsi Zero. What do you think, William? Trump is live again right now in Las Vegas. He is busting his butt. He really, really is. And he is so beloved at this point. The Trump derangement syndrome. There's this guy. He says he was a medic in the army. And, he believes what they say General Milley has said, which I assume is correct, that Trump called veterans a bunch of losers, and was another word. He did, unfortunately. One thing we know he absolutely did say is what he said about John McCain. I like my winners to not get captured. First of all, it was 2015, and Trump is a lot smarter than that now. And I think he's a better compassionate. He certainly has shown compassion to the people that work for him and to the people that he tried to make their life better in his first 4 years as president, until COVID came along and kind of upset the apple cart, stopped the agenda to a large degree. Even his staff will tell you that he knows their names, he cares, he stops and he talks to them. 92% of Kamala Harris's staff have either been fired by her or the majority have quit and walked away. Have quit and walked away because she's a horror. She's a horror. And if you love America, if you love the Constitution, if you want a bright future for your grandchildren, I'm not saying it's guaranteed to happen because I think we're in the last days, but if you want less horror and more glory days for America, you can't vote for Kamala Harris. She's all wrong for the job, in my personal opinion. You may disagree. So, yeah, not too much soda, but boy, when you're thirsty, I love water. I drink more water than I ever did. But when you're thirsty, you sure do love a nice cold glass. So for me, it's the zero sugar Pepsi or the Canada Dry Diet Ginger Ale. They used to have on their label, it used to say made with real ginger. It doesn't say that anymore. It doesn't say that no more. I noticed that. They can't fool me. You have to get up pretty early in the morning, Larry David. we heard it before. Larry, you pretty early in the morning to fool me. In fact, even if you're up by 9 or 10 a.m., you can fool me. I'm not known as an early riser. I thought I was going to have to go. Would have happened today. Go back at 7. Get up at 6:30 in the morning. Leave at 7 and go back up to the cataract a place with the Haitian woman next door because she couldn't have her procedure done. But now they're going to wait on that and check her with the eye drops and stuff. I said to her husband, though, I mean, pretty soon we'll have to worry about snow. We'll have to worry about snow on her appointment day. But I don't want to say no. I don't want to say no to her. So, yeah, because it's East Coast time is 11:15, but it's 3 hours earlier in Las Vegas. He's got a real chance at Nevada. He's got a real chance at Pennsylvania. He's got a real chance at Georgia. He's got a real chance at Ohio and other places too. Where is your glasses? No, where are your glasses, Shell? I think we're going to have to give you time after school. Time after school. All right, I'll tell you what. I'll put on the glasses just to make you happy. I'll put on my Mod Squad glasses. Anybody remember the Mod Squad? I never watched it. A little bit, maybe. There you go. What do you think, Shell? Are you happy? Are you happy? Got to get down here to the end. My father used to put vanilla ice cream with cherry crush. Well, you guys remember, some of you guys will remember growing up, ice cream soda was the bomb, right? You go to the nearest confectionery and have yourself an ice cream soda. If Mary Lou is with you, you get 2 straws, and she'd say, "Are you so cheap? Are you so cheap? I know you're only 11 years old, but are you so cheap you can't afford to buy 2 ice cream sodas?" Yeah. Ginger ale, but I want real ginger in my ginger ale, Now, what about that Jamaican ginger beer, huh? There's real ginger in that, I think. It's got a real snap to it. I used to have someone who would go over to Jamaica on holiday and bring me back a 6-pack of ginger beer. Whoa, that's got a bite to it. Shell remembers the Mod Squad. Sandra is finding something Anastasia said funny. Must have been a while ago. I have a 24-pack of A&W root beer, he's saying to Cindy. That's a lot of root beer, man. They make a good root beer, though. I'm one of these people that doesn't really like root beer, but I I can enjoy it very much when I do have it. And I think with root beer, A&W Diet is not bad. A&W Diet root beer is pretty good. But I think I would rather have the regular if I'm going to have root beer. Birch beer, I was never a fan of. Fresca, it was all right. Mountain Dew, once in a while, Diet Mountain Dew. I'll have a glass with some ice cubes if Andy has it. Um, but not usually. Not usually. 7 Up, sure. What's the other one? It's like 7 Up. Begins with an S. Help me, help me, help me. I need people to access information where my computer chip in that area of my brain is malfunctioning. Got to be real ginger. It's hard to find, though, isn't it, Daz? They used to say that on Canada Dry, made with real ginger. They don't say that anymore. They don't say that anymore, Auntie Lenore. You could put your own ginger in it, though. You could do that. Powder or whatever. Hi, Robin Roman. Sprite, yeah, that's one. Sprite is obviously the big imitation of 7 Up. But what's the other one? Sierra Mist. Every once in a while, my brain works again. Sierra Mist. Ever have Sierra Mist, Cheryl Larson? What about you, Robin Roman? That's funny, Neo. There is ginger ale, but no Marianne ale. Come on, Marianne. Come on, Marianne. Marianne. I can't get a pie like they do at that point. Jimmy Loves Marianne. That was the second song released by The Looking Glass to follow up Brandy. They only had one hit, really, because Jimmy Loves Marianne. Jimmy Loves Marianne was only a minor hit. And Barry Manilow was happy about that because it was because of The Looking Glass that he had to go run back into the studio and change his first hit, Brandy, to Mandy. He couldn't believe it. Just recorded the song, driving down the road in his car, and here comes Brandy by The Looking Glass. I don't know if he told the cab driver to turn around. But I think he might have announced an expletive at that point. Oh, dear. Hello, Mary Lou. Goodbye, heart. Sweet Mary Lou, I'm so in love with you. Oh, I love that song. Ricky Nelson before he was Rick Nelson. Don't ever freebase cocaine in a 2-engine plane. Rick, what were you doing? What were you thinking? I'm not sure that's what it was, but I think it was an illegal substance, I believe. Oh, dear. Brandy was a fine girl. What a good wife she would be. What else? Something about the love. Someone else give me the next line. I can't think of it. You know what I thought you said, Shell? I first thought you said Gilligan was a sniffer, like Joe Biden is a sniffer. I mean, he's a serial sniffer. But I can't say that about Uncle Joe. Guys, we got to be honest. We do sniff, don't we? We're sniffers. We do sniff our ladies' hair. And something that rhymes with it, too. Oh, Shell, how disgusting. We all are. Places I never expected to go. Robin Roman, I apologize. Bubble Up. I remember that. That's for the, you find that at the Dollar General, right? I can't believe what I just said, Todd Bradshaw. Somebody got it and somebody didn't. Good taste buds, Cindy. Tab absolutely sucked. Yeah, and it stayed around on the market for a lot longer than people think. It stayed around for a long time. But it would be like so hard to find. It would be tucked away in like the Grand Union soda aisle, It's usually in the refrigerated sodas part. That's what's coming to mind. Really, Cheryl Larson, you love Tab? Next, you're going to say you loved Royal Crown Cola, RC Cola. I used to kind of like RC Cola, actually, but I was always a Pepsi first, the sugar Pepsi, and then I fell in love with Diet Coke. And I still love Diet Coke, but not as much as Pepsi as zero sugar and other beverages, you know. I can't believe we have Tab fans here. And Shell, of course, that leads into Slinky. Oh boy. What's next, Shell? Etcher sketch? Etcher sketch? Did you have an Etcher sketch? Got to shake it up. That was the first flat screen Etcher sketch, right? That was the first kind of flat screen. Gumby and Pokey, says Shell. Yes, I saw them. But funnier than that was Eddie Murphy playing Gumby in full costume. I'm Gumby, damn it. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Eddie Murphy told a funny story. I saw the clip of it the other day. After these big award shows, they don't use. He didn't usually go to the after parties. That wasn't his thing. But there was this one that Johnny Cash was. I think he won an award in this show, and Johnny Cash approached Eddie Murphy, and he said, "Eddie, will you be going to the award show? June and I sure do love you." And Eddie Murphy said at that point he knew that he was going to the after party when Johnny Cash said, "June and I sure do love you. Are you coming?" He went to that award show. How do you refuse Johnny Cash? What a talent he was. And Neil wants a tab. Yeah, you want to run a tab and then run out into another. Yeah, you want to run a tab and then run out into another state of mind or union. We'll never see you again. My God, this guy ran up a $300 tab on stuff like soda and pretzels and beer. And who knows where he went. I got you. Remember? That's right. I was just going to say that. I hadn't read that other part, but I was going to say that if you hadn't, because that is in Back to the Future 2, where the gentleman who has the 50s style diner, because it is the 50s, so it makes sense. You want a tab, you have to order something. And finally, he says, "Give me something without sugar," and that's when he gives him a cup of coffee. Oh, I see you're doing the rest of it. How about a Pepsi free? You want a Pepsi, you got to pay for it. That's right. They used to call it Pepsi free. That meant free of calories. Cindy and Ted, that are now becoming very serious in the chat room. Back to the Future. Well, this Saturday. See, I think this is what we're going to do. I'm going to have to go. I want to go, Neo. I do. But I don't have the budget for this, and these stars all charge some big money. Yes, Tom Wilson will be at Chiller Theater in Parsippany, New Jersey, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I should get to meet Biff this Saturday. I should get to meet Tom Wilson. But, you know, he probably wants upwards of, I don't know, $150 for a picture with him. And, you know, I'm living on a fixed income here, trying to build a channel, so I can't do that. But we have a connection there when it comes to getting in. So Karen says, "Well, let's just go and take it all in, and we'll spend a little. You know." But I should get to see Tom Wilson at Chiller Theater this Saturday. So that'll be cool. He's very nice, very unlike Biff. Yeah. Although he gets tired of being asked the same questions. That's why he wrote a song about the questions that he always gets asked when he's out there and about. And he sings it during his comedy act, because he has one. And he says, "This will save us a lot of time in the lobby." You know, when he goes out to hawk his stuff, this will save us a lot of time. And he sings this song that people ask him, how was Michael J. Fox? He was nice. How was how was the dad on who also played Willard? He was in the remake of the movie Willard. He only works when he wants to, but he's always good. What is his name? Um, well, and one time he sang the song, he said that the guy who played George McFly never talked to him unless it was for a character thing, or they're asking him about a line, kind of rehearsing it. But in terms of personal comment, he never talked to him once. Never talked to him once. And other times he said he was just kind of quiet. And he is known as being one of the weirdest guys whose name I know, like I know my own, but I can't get it right now. Jeff Dunham, funny Halloween skits, huh? Yeah, he's a very funny man. Keep in mind, though, that stuff is written for him. So it's like I had to tell my son Corey when he told me how much he appreciated Elton John's lyrics. I had to break it to him at some point that Elton John doesn't write lyrics, Corey. He writes the music. And he was crestfallen about that. And I said, well, you're a big Bernie Taupin fan. You just didn't know it. You're a huge Bernie Taupin fan. And sometimes Gary Osborne later on, but that's the way it is. Hugh Beaumont, he was great. Tony Dow just passed away, in 2022 now? Time flies. I used to follow Tony Dow, nice man, and he would show up with Jerry Mathers at a lot of the fan conventions. They would show up together. German Fanta is really good, says Neo. I used to like Fanta orange soda. I did back in my, when I was 12 years old. But I don't drink much even diet orange soda anymore now. Every once in a while, though. Every once in a while. Cindy is going out trick-or-treating. I already know the answer to that. She is. She's going out as a bank clerk. She's going to be dressed as a bank clerk. Yeah. So there you go. We're just having a layback time tonight as we approach 2 hours here. You've been here 4 hours. You've been here 4 hours. I'm doing John Pinette right now. The late John Pinette. We got to play more of his stuff. Maybe some on Sunday. The manager owner at the Chinese buffet throwing John Pinette out. You've been here 4 hours. It's all you can eat, not all you can stuff in your fat mouth. Oh, yeah. You go now. That's right. You go now. Oh, that's good. Why you eat dumplings? You big. Eat vegetables. Eat vegetables. Somebody would think that's racist. That's how some people think now. But the people who usually do those jokes, it's just if we can't laugh at ourselves, we can't laugh at ourselves, then we've come to a very sad state where everybody is super sensitive. And comedians are having a real hard time with this, are having a real hard time with it. And it can lead to physical violence at a show, And I'm not just talking Chris Rock getting slapped by Will Smith, Yes, that's right, Marlene. The great Ken Osmond, who was not related to the Osmond brothers, but was a New York City cop at one time, and then went to Hollywood. Was it New York City or a Hollywood cop? I'm not sure now. I'm not as confident. But he got into Leave It to Beaver, and he was terrific, wasn't he? Always giving her the BS compliments so he could win favor with the parents, And she did look nice, right? June Cleaver in her flowing house dress with pearls and her hair and her makeup and what have you. And It wasn't to the airport movie that we learned that Mrs. Beaver Cleaver um, spoke jive. She spoke jive. She did so well in the movie Airplane. Hugh Beaumont and what's her name? Oh boy, this is not a good day. I just saw Frankenberry and Booberry. Booberry? Booberry. I thought we were having Booberry. Choice of Men at the store. Must be out for Halloween. Yeah, I remember. Oh, that's cereal, right? That's cereal. Frankenberry is cereal, of course, of course. A horse is a horse, of course, of course. And no one can talk to a horse, of course, unless, of course, the horse, I'm screwing up the lyrics, is the famous Mr. Ed. People yakety yak all day and people yakety yak. I want to say all day and waste your time away. But Mr. Ed will never speak unless he has something to say. A horse is a horse, of course, of course. And there's another lyric. Oh, Count Chocula. He's scary, though, Robin Roman. He's a little bit scary. I've noticed sometimes that, when he has a date with his girlfriend, she seems to have these wounds on her neck, but she always wears a scarf, but sometimes the scarf slips down a little bit, Yeah. Eddie! Oh, that was a fun show. It really was. Lumpy, he's gone. Eddie's gone. Tony's gone now, who played Wally. It's just Jerry Mathers still out there doing those fan shows all by himself now. And he did the Married with Children episode. And he played himself, Jerry Mathers. And the whole bit was that now to earn a living, Beaver Cleaver, Jerry Mathers, has to go to all these fan conventions and open up hardware stores and things like that. And who plays the son on Married with Children? And you know what his father did for a living on Married with Children. And Jerry Mathers looks at him and says, all right, you're right. I may have to live a pathetic life trying to eke out a living, opening up diners and shoe stores. No, not shoe stores. And restaurants and going to conventions. But at least my father doesn't sell women's shoes. And with that, the kid dropped his head and just walked away in total humiliation. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff, Neil. Left is the Beaver. That could be the reboot, right? Left is the Beaver. Yeah. You reminded me of an old Saturday Night Live skit where supposedly John Belushi is standing over he's in like the Saturday Night Live graveyard for the original, not ready for primetime players, Aykroyd and Bill Murray and Jane Curtin, and they're all dead, but he's still living. He said, everyone thought I would be the first to go. Sadly, they were absolutely right. Check the children's candy. Yeah. No apples. No apples, that's for sure. But you just don't know. It's so hard these days. We got our first bag, and we'll get another one. We don't get many kids, but you never want to be caught without them, So she got a big bag of Butterfingers, and we love the Butterfingers. The bag has not been opened. And I take my 2-year-old granddaughter on walks through the neighborhood to see all the Halloween decorations. There's always those few houses, right? Sometimes you have to drive to them, though. She loves them. Scary Halloween decorations that are 10 feet tall on a lawn. Yeah, sure. We have them right here. We have one right down here. I know I should do a video, get my phone working properly again. Where is my phone, by the way? So I had a real senior moment today, folks. Where is my phone? Because I just realized the one in my pocket is not my phone. It's my old phone. Here it is. Here it is. So Andy and I finally finish up the top 50 reasons why Bob Joyce may be Elvis Part 2, which debuts at noon. Please watch it. Please share it on any platform you can. If you're in a Bob Joyce Facebook group, see if they'll share it there. They may hate me. That's okay if they do. But anyway, it came time. Oh, I'm watching what Andy's doing. He's doing his magic. I've already done my part. Now he's doing his part, putting it all together. And I start looking at my phone, and I can't get it to do anything. It says I'm not connecting to the internet. I can't make a phone call. I can't text. I can't do anything. So what the heck is going on here, I say? And there were a couple of pictures on my phone. I thought they were on this phone that I wanted to share in that video. I'm going to share them Sunday night because they didn't make the video. So I say, now Karen's saying she wants to go to urgent care after we get the Willie Loomis's nails cut because he's, he loves to play in the morning and it's cutting her up. So she doesn't want that, of course. So 4:20 is Willie Loomis at the veterinarian. So we do that. And I've got my phone with me, and I say, I got to go down. We got to stop at the phone store on the way to urgent care. She's not that bad, Karen. If it was an emergency, of course, we would have went right away. But we go to see Rachel. She's an Asian lady, and her chosen name for America is Rachel, just like the gentleman who owns a convenience store down the street. He goes by Eugene. That's not their real names, It's not. But she's Rachel, and she's a sweetheart, and so we've been customers with her and her husband for years now. And so I hand her the phone and say, it says my SIM card is not loaded. I didn't do anything for it not to be loaded, and I can't make a phone call or anything. And it says, yes, emergency phone calls. She gets on the phone, but she's saying, did you take the SIM card out? I said, no, I didn't take the SIM card out. I wouldn't know how to do it. And she's on the phone with them. And at some point, she looks at the phone and says, this is your old Motorola phone. She remembered, this is not your current phone. This is your old Motorola phone. And she's been on the phone like 5 minutes here trying to figure this out. And then she looks, and finally it occurs to her that this is my old phone. This is my current phone, which is a Samsung. And everything works fine on it. So I threw $5 in her tip jar. Got a tip. I always tip Carmen nicely when I go to the Colonial Diner. I'm saying that for a reason. I threw $5 in her tip jar and thanked her very much. And we had a good laugh about that my phone was really at home here in the studio. And I had brought my old Motorola phone, which I am now going to place in the drawer. I'm going to place it in the drawer so I don't make that mistake again. They're coming to take me away. Oh, they're coming to take me away. Hey. Tom Jones still can't sing, but I don't think he will tour. Well, he did last year, so I don't know if he'll tour. I don't know if he toured this year. It doesn't mean he did nothing, but he toured in 22 and 23. 22, after he finished his tour, he had a second hip replacement on the hip that had not been fixed, replaced. So I don't know. But he was great, show. We saw him at Foxwoods Casino in 2022. And he had a cane because he had not had the hip surgery yet because he was doing the American tour. He had to sit down for the show, but the voice was incredible. Jack, which one have you? Count Chocula, the Count from Sesame Street, or Grandpa from the Munsters? I loved Al from the Munsters, who played Grandpa Munster. He had a restaurant. He had a restaurant in New York City, I think. Could have been Chicago because he was from there. I don't know. He had a restaurant, Grandpa's, it was called, with a picture of him in full costume on it. And often when he could, he would be your host as you came in. He would greet you and seat you, and he would take pictures with you as well. He also did some comedy, but it was nothing like you would expect. He was, I think we could say he was a dirty old man. And so he was different from how you would see him on the Munsters, just like Bob Saget was a filthy comedian sometimes when he would do nighttime gigs for adult audiences, an absolutely filthy comedian. He's no longer with us. But Grandpa Munster had a good run as being a restaurateur. Restaurateur? How do you say it? He owned a restaurant. And so in terms of cereal, I am cuckoo for my Cocoa Puffs. If I'm going to go that route, I'm not going Count Chocula. I'm going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I like it that they turn my milk into chocolate milk. I think that's groovy, but in a far out kind of way. So 10 minutes past 11. 2 hours of this, and still 50 people watching. This is our hardcore core audience, but a low replay crowd. So Sunday night, what we're going to do is we'll talk over. I'm going to have a chance to read more of this book than I've read, From Here to the Great Unknown. And I'm going to start on that tonight. And we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the World Series maybe. Any Dodgers fans out there? Any Yankee fans out there? I hope. Both coasts are represented this time. Oh, well, we had somebody new come on. Heidi, right? Hi, Heidi Marley, not Bob Marley. That is a good one. Werewolves of London. Warren Zevon, that song? Now, the movie wasn't called Werewolves of London, or was it? With not David Norton. Was it David Norton? He sang the song Making It. I'm making it this time in life. I'm making it. Remember that song? Werewolves of London. Now, it was a movie. And that wasn't Steve Guttenberg in it. No. Who was the actor in that movie I'm referring to? Do you know what I mean? You saw a lot of them in that movie, if you know what I mean. Hey, Don. Enjoy your broadcast. Well, thank you very much. Semler, where are you watching us from, Don? We're just kind of, this is just like easy talk. This is kind of like, I don't know how many of you would remember this, if any of you, but I've talked about it before. There used to be a show that came out of Utah, not YouTube, Utah. Before there was Art Bell in the overnight, before there was Larry King doing radio. For a while, he did both, and he was really burnt out then. He'd do Larry King live and then go to the radio studio, which is in a building, not his house, and do midnight to 5 on the radio. And by 4 in the morning, he was 3 sheets to the wind. He was mumbling into the microphone sometimes. But before all that, there was the nightcap show with Herb Jepko from, it was either Provo or Salt Lake City, Utah, I think. And it was just chat. Oh, Herb, I'm calling from Montana. Kind of cold tonight here. Kind of cold in Montana. Yeah, it's been cold here too, Cindy. It's been cold here too. That kind of stuff all night, back and forth. But people loved it, They never got into serious stuff. Herb was probably a Mormon, but they never talked about it. Yes, American Werewolves in London. And it came out in 1981. Who was the star of that movie, Jody? Who was the star of that movie? All I remember is at one point he was butt naked, hiding behind a shrub bush. Now, why do I remember that part? I know it was a movie I enjoyed very much, but I most remember that. What does that say about me? Anastasia, don't analyze me like that, like this is a shrink couch. Katrina changed Lafayette. It's like New Orleans took over Lafayette. Really? See, are you saying that there's a lot of nightclub activity and debauchery going on in Lafayette now? Is that what you mean? Is that what you're saying? Oh, Neil says again. So it was David Norton who sang the song Making It. He had one hit record. Huh. Yeah. Did he do anything else other than that? Because he definitely looked like a movie star, someone you'd want to see again. But I do remember that hit record. I wish I could go right to Spotify and play David Norton singing Making It, but I can't. They'll take it out on me. That film used to scare the crap out of me when I was a young lad. The only movie that kind of scared me really was Fire in the Sky, when the hillbillies from the pickup truck wake up inside an alien spacecraft. And this is supposed to be based on a true life story. So I don't know. Okay, Michael Jackson is still alive. I have a video. Did you see my Michael pictures? It's just from like a month or so ago, where I don't really explore the topic, but I show pictures that were sent into me that was sent to a bin of Michael as he looks now. Other than that, I will stay out of that topic. You know what I have to say about that topic? It's out of my life. It's out of my life. For one or two videos, I did mention the possibility, and I took it for granted. I was so cavalier, but the views weren't great, and it cut like a knife. So Michael, alive in 2024, is out of my life. You know who does a great version of that song? And she doesn't change it to he. Harriet. I've been telling you about this woman from the UK. Harriet. Do you ever watch me, Harriet? You are so incredible. You are. And we can't help but say that it would be my dream that someday, if not with Richard Carpenter, but with someone young who can do a good Richard Carpenter, whatever he did, obviously a great writer and keyboardist, and he sang great background vocals, that you would go on Broadway as Karen Carpenter. Darken your hair, wear a wig, or whatever. Because if I did believe in reincarnation, Harriet from the UK, check her out on YouTube, Spotify, I would say that you are the reincarnation of Karen Carpenter, almost identical. And I've never thought that of anybody. So go and check out her version of the Barry Manilow classic, Trying to Get the Feeling Again. She does sing Carpenter songs, but not too many does she record. She does them live. So I'm wanting her to sing Superstar, and We've Only Just Begun, and she won't do it for me. She won't do it for me. She should play Karen Carpenter in a Broadway musical. She is definitely the one. I just shot out there for somebody a multi-million-dollar idea, and it would be for her too. But will it come to fruition? Will somebody pay my tuition? I doubt it. All right. I think we have rambled quite a lot here. Good night, hip chick. Sweet dreams are made of this. You're the one I want to. That's an easy rhyme. Finish it for me, Ted. He was in several movies and TV shows, this David Norton, along with American Werewolf in London and American Werewolf in Paris. So there was a sequel. I have met him and had several conversations. Cool. So there you go. I'm just looking here. Thank you for stopping by. Who did Dr. Pepper commercials? David Norton? Did he? Did he? So I always like to close with some scripture. Remember, Sunday night we'll be talking about this book, 6 p.m. East Coast time. No Saturday night show this weekend. I may be at Chiller Theater, but I'm not going to be spending much money. And then I'll come home to the Yankees, Got to think about the Yankees this weekend. But I'm not going to forget my audience. We will do a weekend show. We will. Psalm 139, part of it in the NIV. It's a long one. O Lord, you have searched me and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts. Unfortunately, you perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going and my lying down, my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you know it completely. You hem me in behind and before. You have laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful. Some versions, like King James, I think, says vast, is too wonderful, vast for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even then your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. So I don't mean this is a joke, guys, but don't go into the strip club if you're a born-again Christian, because you're bringing God in, you're bringing Jesus himself in there with you. So that's all I have to say about that. Thank you so much for joining me for Worldwide Ramblings. Thank you for hitting the thanks button. If you're watching the replay, the thanks button may not appear right away, but it will eventually, or you can go to another recent video and hit it there for any amount. I would so appreciate that. My Cash App is Media Guy 56, MEDIAGUY 56, Media Guy 56. No amount is too small. I appreciate it very much. And let's just go here. And that's good. Okay. All right. So there you go. Remember now, about noon tomorrow, part 2 of the top 50 reasons why Bob Joyce may be Elvis. Please like it and share it if you can. That would be very helpful. Tell your friends, tell a florist, and tell Tim Walls, but he won't understand anything. He won't understand. Thank you, Patrick, for coming by. Todd and Cindy and Anastasia and Robin Roman and Nancy DeMarco earlier, Ted Richards, Neo, of course, One Hip Chick, Susan Safiati, and Daz. Thank you. Heidi Marley. We didn't get to talk to you too much, but you knew about David Martin. Jody Smith, of course. And Michael G., I think I said. Ruthie was here for a while. And we got most of them, I think. Marlene. She's not mean. She's keen. Marlene is keen. Thank you for that $2 on the thank you button, Jody Smith. I appreciate it very much. I think I'll go downstairs. I probably have a few dishes to wash, Make sure Karen is okay and fight off the temptation to have something with a cup of tea. I do love my tea, which will ensure I'll be up till 3 a.m. probably. That's the way of the world. Let's see. Friday, what are we doing today? If Karen feels better, she may swim at the Y. I may go and see my friend Leon at the diner. and he'll try to bring up politics, and I'll just dodge him. I don't understand how you could have such Trump derangement syndrome that you would vote for someone that you can't stand yourself. It's America on the line, just a small thing, maybe. America is on the line. Ta-ta, everybody. You are such a blessing to me, the core audience right here on Worldwide Ramblings. See you at 6 o'clock Sunday night, 6 p.m. East Coast time, Sunday night, for the next edition of Worldwide Ramblings. God's peace. Bye-bye.